Alright, everybody. Welcome back to my garage. And today, we're going to do something a little different. Right in front of you, you have a car that is relatively complete. Just, you know, there's no motor, there's no interior. It is the bare definition of a roller. And something that is really fun about my garage is the art of motors. Which, as you can see right here, look at this motor. Trying to get a motor that looks good, but isn't, a complete shiny mess. Something that looks like it's going to be used and abused. Kind of like what's in the Guy Fieri here. Kind of like... Not a very good example. I don't have many good examples out at the moment, but this Ford right here, this is what I would say is probably one of the best looking engines I've built in this game. It looks good. It's a stock engine pretty much. I think it's well done. It's tasteful. It's a good color. All that jazz. So, I probably have to look back at the pictures. I built this car probably 2 years ago. And it fell flat on its face because I could not find a 350 for it. Because, of course, 350 cubic inch power. This is a complete rip on the fabulous Hudson Hornet, but I wanted to do it with an old Impala because these cars were used in NASCAR pretty much. But I wanted to do some sort of like old school looking race car. And I think this one's going to enter the fleet. And I'm finally going to put a motor in it because I have good parts to make a really cool, hopefully period correct engine for this. Of course, period correct to a asterisk right there. I can't pronounce it. It's not going to be 110% perfect. It's going to be probably about 90%. Now, if you're wondering, this is not Banana's Impala mod. This is Nick's, which is incredibly outdated. I don't think there are issues with the mod, to be perfectly honest. I think the mod is held up to the URP update. So we'll see if we come across any issues here, because I know he has no intentions of updating this. I hope we don't run into issues, because I really want this car to turn out great since it's sat for so long. And I need an easy episode that I can get done for this week. So, yeah. Alright, I'm going to push it out, and we're going to get started on this thing. Alright, so for this episode, I'm going to kind of just go through the process that I go through when building motors for cars, because I've done it a lot. I've learned a lot of techniques from different people over the years, and it has changed a lot given the URP update. I mean, a good example right here, Buck's engine is a good example of changes that I've made as of recently. At least the engine blew up in this thing. I had to put a new one in it that was in the previous save that we were in. So, yeah. But as you can see, the motor is not entirely gloss. And usually in cars like this, your motors are not like shiny, glossy paint all the time. They have some sheen to them, but they don't, they're not entirely glossy. Your engine should not be as glossy as your car. That is something that I try to go with logic-wise in this game. So, obviously this car was painted before the URP update where clear coat and everything was brought in. Before, you could just either use that paint booth mod that would put a paint booth over here, or Material Master, which I'm going to finally do something that I've meant to do for a long time, which is bring the pallet over to my fucking shop, because every motor I've built, I've done the trek. I have walked over with the parts in a backpack, and I never fucking brought the pallet over. For this video, it finally happens. I bring the pallet over. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Put it behind Buck. You know, I'm just going to put it. That blocks the door. That's in the way of the engine stand. Soup. Oh, don't fall through the map, please. Alright, yeah, that's good enough. Good enough, good enough. Alright, so Material Master is probably going to be your best friend of a mod that is publicly accessible to you. I know Feed's Paint Booth mod also has the same effect, but I've run into issues with that mod, and I'm kind of hesitant to go back to it. As much as it is convenient to have a paint booth right there, I don't want to run into issues with my car materials getting screwed up whenever I load a save. So, the engine. We're going with a 350. This is where things are going to kind of go into a realm of, I don't have these parts, because I have a lot of private mods. You can do this with any engine. Anything that is paintable, you can use Material Master. So don't go and think, just because I don't have this specific part, I can't do this. No, you can do it all. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the V8 option, click Engine, and all your parts are going to pop up. I'm not going to select any car because some of these parts are not attached to a car. And this thing is going to need the whole shebang. It needs a battery tray, it needs wires, it needs fuel line, it needs the whole 9 yards. So I go through, and because we're making an old stock car, we're going to build it with a little bit of performance in mind, but it's going to be a mainly stock engine. We're not going to do a forged bottom end or anything like that. Nothing crazy. So I just go through, I buy what I definitely know I'm going to need. Yep, stock distributor. I'm not going crazy with that. We're gonna go with different manifolds, so I'm gonna skip those. Flywheel. Yep, fuel pump, head gaskets, coil. I think that's 8 pistons. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. 8. Starter. Put some performance rockers in it. Normal spark plug wires, that. I'll put a better fan on this thing. Upper hose. We are going to get an intake manifold. More than likely use that too. Not going to do performance cylinder heads. It's going to need a transmission. That is something I have forgotten. Just a normal 4-speed. Nothing crazy. Yep. Better engine fan. Some performance rockers, because why not? All of that I am not worried about. Now here's where you kind of get into the customization parts. And I kind of have to go through this a little slowly because there are a lot of parts here. Alright, I'm going to do a lightweight balancer because that saves me on some paint. In reality, Should really do that, but I don't know if that's going to clear the hood. Not going to do a fan shroud. Alright, so this is where we're going to get into some weird realm here. GM cylinder heads. That's what's going to make the 350 here. Could do electric fans, but not going to worry about that too much. Alright. Don't need those. Paintable oil pan. Paintable water pump. Timing cover. Banana's paintable parts are definitely going to be your best friend with doing these types of motors, because you can pretty much paint everything. We're going to do the stock log style manifolds for this. I don't know what I'm going to do for a carb yet. Aluminum radiator. Alright, now we get into Nick's stuff. I would use one of Banana's Junkyard 350s, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't want to. I want to make something that is going to last and that is going to survive for the long term. You know, we'll put a 2-barrel on this. We'll put a 2-barrel because that's more than likely what it would have had. Alright, then I need Holly valve cover, Moroso GM valve covers, got the nail head. Oh, I'm putting custom rockers. Whoopsie. Yeah, we'll put stock style. I'm going to need the GM spark plug wires. Did not realize that. And that should be everything. Now, you're left with a pile of parts. And it's the question of, what do I do with these parts? Well, first off, for my manifolds, I need to look at my game files. Because I have some special stuff that I would like to use for this thing. It's my garage, material mast, so met.jpg. Okay. Alright, we're going to place this down. Now I'm going to add a texture to this thing. Alright. Control A, Control C. Because it likes to break. Or is it just met? God, I forgot how to fucking do this already. met.jpg. I think I misspelled something. Did the game fucking crash? No. met.jpg. Control C. I'm gonna exit out of this. Drop that back down. There we go. So the My Garage Discord channel has a bunch of textures that you can use for stuff like this. And I'm going to use this for my manifolds because it looks better, in my opinion. Ooh. And I'm going to place those off to the side. So anything that I am going to be painting a GM color, I'm going to place off to the side. So that's the cylinder heads, that's the oil pan, the block, intake manifold will be staying that texture. This will be getting a different color. Same with the valve covers. Let's see what else. Yep. Timing cover, that's going to be GM orange. I need the thermostat, that's going to become a different color. I believe that would be everything that I need to paint. Oh, water pump, that's also becoming a GM color. And another great tip is that on the My Garage Discord server, there is a channel dedicated to a bunch of paint codes. So you can easily find your GM colors. In this case, I believe F66B29 is the color that we are looking for. I'm going to grab another one because that might be low. So F66B29, hit enter, buy an extra spray can just to have. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take your parts, you're going to spray paint them, and they're going to come out with that matte finish because of the new painting system. You necessarily don't need to clear coat or polish anything in this case. It's probably going to be better that you leave them this way, but this engine, when you bring it out in the sunlight, it's a very flat color. It's not, you know, a little glossy, but not too glossy. So you're going to come in here, drop it down on your palette for Material Master, and you're not going to do anything with any of this. You're going to go to Edit Properties. And I think in my case, you want to mess with this top vector right here. And I usually put it up to about 68, 69. Right in that middle sweet spot right there. Apply. There you go. Now when you look at it, it's got that little bit of sheen to it now. Where it's not overly glossy, but it's got a nice sheen. It looks like that you just painted bare metal. You didn't prep it. And that's what you're going to want to repeat for all these parts. Now, in my case here, I'm trying to think if I want to do anything different. Might do chrome valve covers to make it a little performance-y. We'll see. I'm going to try some things. I'm going to go ahead and get everything painted. You don't need to watch me do this 400 fucking times. Oh, other tips. Something that unbelievably pisses me off when people use the base game intake manifold. They just put the orange one on here. And it doesn't match. I get sometimes, like, it makes sense. I've done it a time or two when I've been trying to do cheap builds. But if you can, paint your thermostat so it matches. So it's not just some ugly eyesore or chrome it. Please. I think what I have usually done is I have painted it not that gray. Is it more of this gray? That's even darker. Ah, there was a gray. Like a whitish gray that was perfect for this. Just see how white works. Again, anymore? Or is that just... This might be bugging out. Let me buy a new one. Do, 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 do. There we go. Paintable. Pick it up. Spray paint it. Alright, that is broken. Shit. God damn it, Banana. Why? Alright, then I guess the second best option here. Oh, fuck. Impala's now too close. Push it back. Alright. Let's get the paintable intake manifold. Ooh, that wrapped to it real good. Alright. Now can we do it with this? Oh, Control V. Oh, we can. Alright. There's a way to kind of scapegoat that. But now, when you install that, they match. They look good. It's not just some ugly orange eyesore on your engine. Now, I don't know if these materials have been posted in the My Garage Discord or not, but scroll through that channel. You may find a bunch of good stuff that you can use, especially different metal materials and whatnot. So, give that a look. But yeah, it is not hard to make something of quality in this game that isn't just a glossy mess, which I know a lot of people like to do, but I want my engine to look real. I want it to look like something that, you know, has been in the car, or at least nice. Or in cases where I want it to look rusty, make it look rusty. Alright, back to painting. And there we have it. There is a nice looking 350. It's not super fucking glossy. It's like a nice matte finish. You know, looks like it's actual steel or metal or an iron block or something like that. It's not some fancy sheet metal. And it probably only makes 200 horsepower because that's how much these cars made back then. But now it is time to get the motor in the car, which I'm going to need the battery tray and a battery. So radiator. Think that after 2 years this car is finally coming together. Battery tray. Wires. Screw that on for the time being. Let's get the transmission in there. Ooh, it doesn't even have a drive shaft. Damn. Alright, batteries in. Let's get the starter. Rad hoses. And the final piece. The 350. Now, I don't know what race engines in these cars looked like back in the day. I could look up pictures, but it's just something that I believe they bought right off of a lot, rolled into a garage, painted it up to be a NASCAR, and went racing the next weekend. That was the idea behind this engine. Now, you have a nice engine bay. Got a motor that looks like it's, like, you know, correct for it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Let me do the finishing touches on this car. Get this thing kitted out so it's just done, complete. Don't got to think about it anymore. Then we'll go on a nice test drive. Okay. I have rush finished the car because I need to get this episode done today. And it should be ready to run. We got everything plumbed. We got brake fluid in it. Interior's put in. That front seat is temporary. I'll eventually get a black one and put it inside. Wanted it to have a bench, though. It's got a fuel tank. It should be good to go. So we'll take this thing over to the dyno and see what abysmal power it makes for being a 50s land yacht. Here's the fucking party trick of this car. Ooh. Hold the brake pedal. My controller isn't on. There we go. Ooh. Alright, she makes a little bit of power. Drives good. I don't even know what gear's in it. Finally on the road after all this time. A little bit of a surreal feeling because this thing has been sitting for years. Little darty. I wonder if I did use junk components on this, because it was a junkyard BART at one point, I know that. Oh. Good enough. Let me just reach into the fender here and leap. That's my one flaw about this car, is the parking brake. Let's see the abysmal horsepower of a 58 Impala race car. Let's pull this off because that'll make this harder. Of course, that's in the way. Let's see. Fourth gear. It can't even hit rev limiter. 233 horsepower. Yeah, I can sleep with that for now. I'll need to hop it up a little more. I think a 2-barrel is choking it way too much. But there you go. A fabulous Chevy Impala. Finally on the road after 2 years, I think. I would need to look back at the pictures, or hell, even better, look back at when I made the decals to get a good idea. What I'm gonna do with this, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. That is going to be a question for later, because I need to get to work on the next episode, and I need to start to improve my save here, because I'm figuring out some of the lag issues that I have. And I'm going to be tearing down probably most of my buildings. So, yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I learned a tip or two about making some motors here in this game. Especially how to make them look a little better than, a little better than just a glossy mess. But, yeah. There you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.